Okay, we're going to tie a Zugbug. Very popular fly, very effective fly. I like to use it as an emerger also during especially the alder fly hatch, a caddis that is green when it hatches and then turns brown. But it's just a good general purpose pattern, has those insect colors, and it's mainly peacock herl, which always fishes well. I like to tie them weighted, and this is 15 thousandths non-lead wire, as they say. I do 10 or 11 wraps or so on this size hook. It's a 12. Pinch that off and tighten it up. Just wrapping using my thumbnail and fingernail to get it tight on here. And then I'll bind it down with thread and wrap over it, although it's not as important to wrap over this non-lead lead as it was lead, because the lead color would leach out and discolor your fly material, but that doesn't seem to be the case with this. Now watch as I wrap this lead. See how, this thread, how it pushes the lead? So you got to be careful and get over the lead and then pull back and tighten it like this. And then you just keep wrapping until you build a nice taper on both ends. And pretty well cover the lead. You just kind of have to build a nice taper. You keep going back and forth till you end up with something that looks like this. And with that done, what you want to do is put the tail on here, and the tail is peacock sword. You want to grab 4 or 5 of these sword fibers and tie them in as a tail. And well, not 6 or 8 like I got here. Let me get rid of some of those. So say I think I got 4 or 5 here now, and I'm tying them in a little bit back of the bend, right at the end of my taper of my body, and I do it back here like this with just a couple of loose wraps so I can grab the fibers and slide them in. So if you just grab and pull, it's a good idea to grab them all. Let that one get caught up with the rest, and now get them all here and pull them in. And you want this tail fairly short on this. It's supposed to be half the gap. So now I can wrap back to the end point, and there you go, and there's a tail that's about half the gap length. With that done, I'll trim this off and position the thread and the head by turning the hook over and having the hook ready for my next material, which is the tinsel rib. And for this I use an oval tinsel, medium size, on a size 12 like this. But when I first started tying this pattern, it was tied with flat tinsel. It's just one of the things that have changed in the pattern, and I like the oval tinsel better. One, I think it's more rugged than flat tinsel and doesn't break as often, so I definitely have welcomed this change to the oval tinsel. And with that bound on the hook, I roll this back over and get ready to tie in the peacock herl for the body. Now peacock herl is notoriously easy to break, and so I use the rope technique, the rope wrap technique, to reinforce this with tie-in thread. So I got 4 or 5 strands of peacock herl here, and you can see as I pull on one of these, it just is easy to pop those. See how that broke way back there? That is the reason of reinforcing this with the thread. So here I make sure I got plenty of length and I got my tips about even, and I square them off by cutting it, and I'll just lash them right to the top of the hook and wrap back to the bend where I want my body to start. And when I get back here, here's the herl on top and the thread down bottom here, and I don't want them to be separate like that. I want them to come off the same point of the hook. So I just roll the hook over, then wrap the herl around twice, and then slide my fingers down the thread and the herl to get down to about the end of the peacock herl, and then pull this out so it's right in line with the hook, and then just start rotating, and it twists this into a rope, and the herl stems are now reinforced with thread, with the tying thread, making them quite rugged. So I just come back so I'm perpendicular to the hook and start wrapping and wrap forward, dancing around that hook point as always, and just keep wrapping until you get up there to the front. One thing you don't want to do on this Zugbug or any other pattern is crowd the head. So when I get up about to here, you see the amount of bare space I've got in front, about the size of the eye. I just pull my thread loose from the herl, come up, make a couple wraps to stabilize everything, and then go behind the herl, over the top of it, wrap in front, behind, over the top, and a wrap in front, and that has my herl nice and secure, and I can rotate the top and cut above the hook. Make a couple of wraps extra here in the forward motion, about 5 of them, because I'm going to wrap this rib up in the reverse direction, and it'll unwrap those 5 extra wraps of thread I just made up there if I can get this out of the material clip. Material clips either hold too hard or not enough. But so I pull this rib nice and tight and start wrapping forward. Those 5 extra wraps of thread I made up there by the eye are unwrapping as I make these 4 or 5 wraps towards the eye with the rib. And see, I got good tension on that. You can see it bending the hook shank. And there are my rib wraps. And I go again behind, then make a wrap over and in front, come behind the rib again and make a wrap over and in front. And I know that also is nice and secure. Extra one won't hurt though. And trim that off. And we're most of the way through this fly. We got to do a beard or collar and then put the wing case on here. Now again, this pattern has changed a lot. I'm going to use a hen feather like this and strip all the bottom fibers off and tie this on as a collar. But now it's generally tied on just as a beard. So I prepared this by pulling some of these fibers back, stripped all the fibers off the bottom. I'm going to turn this over so the dull side or the conical side of the concave side of the feather is pointing to the rear as I tie this tip in. And I'll prepare the tip by cutting all the excess off with my scissors here. Trim off some of those extra fibers on the edge of the quill. And then just tie this tip in. And when I tie this in, see, I'm just going to use a nice light wrap and then slide that feather in so that the end of the fibers here don't stick out into my eye. Now with that attached, I'm going to grab it with my hackle pliers, but see, I'm making a couple extra wraps here. I'm only going to make 1 wrap of hackle. That's all you really need. And so I made the 1 or 2 extra wraps up there, and I'm going to grab this with my hackle pliers, and I'm going to wrap the hen hackle in reverse of my thread wraps. And I use the fold and wrap technique where I get in here with my thumb and forefingers and kind of fold and wrap this in place. See, I'm going to come down and those are pinched back. And then I just rotate the jaw with my thumb or my forefinger, and I don't go all the way to the back to the actuator arm way to the left of the vise. Instead, I just keep my thumb and forefinger right here handy rotating this and folding it all at the same time. Now really, you don't need very much in the way of hackle here, so this 1 wrap, or you might say it's a wrap and a quarter, is all I really need. And I'm going to bring the thread up behind the hackle stem, go over the top of it, make a wrap, and I'm going to do it 1 more time, and that makes it real secure. And I'm just going to pop this thread in this stem instead of cutting it. There you go. See, that just a snap like that. These stems are so thin you often can get away with that. Now I'll stroke these fibers to the back. If I was going to leave this as a full collar, I would actually have tied the wing case on first. And then I'd have these fibers sweeping back like this. But I am going to put a wing case on top of this herl, so I want to clear off some of this stuff here in the top so it's not sticking in its way. So I'll just cut it out. And so this is kind of a half beard, half collar wrap that I've got going here. I'm going to stroke all those fibers that are left down. Get that other one there. I'm going to kind of stroke them down to the side and tie them in place. And so it's a little thicker beard or wider beard than a normal beard is. But it's not a full collar wrap like the pattern used to be tied. It's kind of a hybrid collar throat combination, I guess you'd call it. And there you go. You got legs going halfway around, or a collar going halfway around, which leaves the top open for the wing case. Now the wing case is just dyed mallard, And I take and prep one of these feathers by just stripping away the fibers on the bottom so that I get a bare quill down here. And I'm going to tie this in by trapping the stem and then pulling the feather into place. So I'll move my thread back to the tie-in point. Should have done that before I prepped the feather. Just lay the quill on top like this. Make a wrap, just a loose wrap. And now I'm just going to slide this in. See it start to go under the thread. Now pull it just a little further to kind of gather those fibers together. And there it is. Make sure it's in the right place and make a couple more wraps to secure it and then cut off the excess. And except for trimming this a little short now, we're done. So we'll do the whip finish knot, cut off that thread, and rotate this down and measure the length to see how far back we want to be. And we want to be back a third to a half of the way of the shank. So now gather these fibers, pull them together and lift them up a little bit. Whoops, get them all with the scissors here and trim it off. And there it is. Now this is a good fly and it deserves a place in your box. And I fish it a lot. So there you have it. That's a Zugbug tied using rotary fly tying techniques.